Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to win every argument, control every room, and walk away from every conflict untouched, while everyone else is left confused, drained, and doubting themselves? You replay the conversation in your head, wondering how the truth slipped through your fingers. You had facts, you had logic, yet somehow they walked away looking powerful and you looked weak. That's not an accident. That's a system. And today, you're going to understand exactly why narcissists always seem to win, and more importantly, how you can stop playing a game that was never designed for you to win in the first place. Narcissists don't win because they're smarter, stronger, or more prepared. They win because they're playing a completely different game. While you're trying to be fair, they're trying to dominate. While you're trying to explain, they're trying to control perception. While you're searching for truth, they're manufacturing reality. And the moment you realize this, something unsettling happens. You understand that every time you tried to win against them using honesty, empathy, or logic, you were handing them the advantage. Because narcissists don't care about truth. They care about outcomes. And that single difference changes everything. Think about the last time you argued with someone who drained you emotionally. They twisted your words. They denied things they clearly said. They shifted blame so smoothly that you started apologizing for things you didn't do. This isn't random behavior. It's psychological warfare. Narcissists are obsessed with control, not connection. They don't communicate to understand. They communicate to dominate. And once you see that pattern, you realize why normal people keep losing. They assume both sides are playing by the same rules. They aren't. From a young age, narcissists learn something most people never consciously realize. Image is more powerful than reality. Perception is more important than truth. Whoever controls the narrative controls the outcome. So they lie without guilt. They exaggerate without shame. They rewrite history without hesitation. And when confronted, they don't defend facts. They attack confidence. Because if they can make you doubt yourself, they've already won. This is why narcissists seem fearless. It's not courage, it's detachment. They don't feel the same internal breaks you feel. Shame doesn't stop them. Empathy doesn't slow them down. Self-reflection doesn't interrupt their momentum. And because of that, they can escalate without blinking. They can say things you would never say. They can accuse you of things you'd never accuse them of. And in the heat of the moment, that shock alone gives them power. Here's the part most people don't want to hear. Narcissists win because good people hesitate. You hesitate to be harsh. You hesitate to offend. You hesitate to cut ties. You hesitate to stand firm when someone pushes back aggressively. Narcissists exploit hesitation like a weapon. The moment you pause to be kind, they move to dominate. The moment you try to clarify, they move to confuse. The moment you try to explain, they move to overwhelm. They also understand something terrifying about human psychology. Most people fear conflict more than manipulation. Most people would rather doubt themselves than believe someone else is deliberately deceiving them. Narcissists rely on that. They rely on your disbelief. They rely on your hope that maybe you misunderstood. They rely on your desire to see the good in people. And every time you give them that benefit of the doubt, they tighten the grip. This is why narcissists often rise in workplaces, social circles, and even families. They self-promote aggressively. They take credit loudly. They deflect blame instantly. And while others are quietly doing the work, narcissists are loudly claiming the spotlight. Over time, Authority figures start believing the story they hear most often, not the truth, the story. And narcissists never stop telling theirs. But here's where the illusion starts to crack. Narcissists don't actually win long-term. They dominate short-term environments where perception matters more than substance. They thrive in chaos, ambiguity, and emotional fog. The moment clarity enters the room, their power weakens. The moment boundaries become non-negotiable, they lose leverage. The moment you stop reacting emotionally, they lose fuel. To beat a narcissist, you must first abandon the idea of beating them at their own game. You will never out-manipulate someone who has been manipulating since childhood. You will never out-argue someone who isn't bound by truth. And you will never out-emote someone who feels nothing when lying. Trying to defeat them head-on is exactly what they want, because conflict feeds them. Emotional reactions validate them. Resistance energizes them. The real strategy is refusal. Refusal to engage on their terms. Refusal to explain yourself endlessly. Refusal to defend your reality to someone committed to distorting it. This is where most people struggle, because it feels wrong. It feels unfair. It feels like letting them win. But that's the trap. Narcissists define winning as control over you. The moment you stop providing emotional responses, you remove their victory condition entirely. One of the most powerful tools against a narcissist is predictability, not theirs. Yours, calm, neutral. Consistent behavior, short answers, no emotional spikes, no dramatic reactions. This is known as emotional withdrawal, and it terrifies narcissists because without your reactions, they have nothing to manipulate. They provoke to feel powerful. Silence makes them feel invisible. Another crucial shift is internal. You must stop seeking validation from someone incapable of giving it. Narcissists never admit fault in a way that satisfies you. They never apologize in a way that heals you. They never acknowledge harm in a way that brings closure. Waiting for that moment keeps you trapped. Closure doesn't come from them. It comes from understanding that they are psychologically incapable of giving you what you want. Boundaries are not negotiations. They are statements. Narcissists treat explanations as openings. The more you explain, the more they attack. So you stop explaining. You state what you will and won't tolerate, and you enforce it with action, not words. This is where most people fail. They set boundaries verbally, but don't enforce consequences. Narcissists immediately test that weakness. And once they see you won't follow through, they escalate. The ultimate power move against a narcissist is detachment. Not anger, not revenge. Detachment. When they realize they no longer affect your emotions, they panic. They may escalate temporarily, trying harder to provoke you. This phase is critical. If you hold steady, their interest fades. Narcissists don't chase people they can't control. They move on to easier targets. It is important to understand that beating a narcissist doesn't look like victory in a movie. There's no dramatic confession, no public humiliation, no moment where everyone claps and they're exposed. Real victory is quiet. It's the moment their words no longer echo in your mind. It's the moment you stop rehearsing arguments alone. It's the moment their opinion stops shaping yourself. Many people ask, but what if I have to deal with them? At work? In family? The answer is structure. Keep interactions factual, minimal, and documented. Avoid emotional conversations. Stick to written communication when possible. Narcissists thrive in ambiguity. Documentation destroys ambiguity. Clear records limit their ability to rewrite reality. You also need to rebuild something narcissists slowly erode: trust in your own perception. Gaslighting works because it targets self-doubt. The antidote is self-validation. Journaling events, talking to grounded third parties, checking patterns instead of isolated incidents. When you trust your perception, manipulation loses power. Here's the uncomfortable truth: narcissists don't steal your power. You hand it over, trying to be understood. You give it away, trying to fix them. You lose it, trying to prove your worth. The moment you stop performing for their approval, you reclaim it. And that's when the dynamic flips. Narcissists fear one thing above all else: irrelevance. Not exposure, not punishment. Irrelevance. When you stop engaging, stop reacting, stop explaining, and stop chasing closure, they lose their mirror. And without a mirror, narcissists collapse inward. They look for another source, another audience, another supply. So no, narcissists don't always win. They only win when you believe the game is about fairness, truth, or understanding. It's not. It's about control. And once you stop playing, you don't just beat them, you escape them. If this message hit closer to home than you expected, that's not coincidence. Awareness is the first crack in the illusion. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Stay aware, stay grounded, and remember, the strongest position is not dominance, it's independence.